They removed the blindfold. I was standing on the railway tracks. My hands were tied tightly behind my back, the rope biting into my wrists. I couldn't move. The rails vibrated under my feet. In the distance, a train horn blasted through the night. I froze, not because I wanted to, but because I had no choice. This isn't funny. Let me move. Victor stood calmly in front of me. Stand still. The sound grew louder. The ground shook. Wind rushed toward us. My legs gave out. Please, please! At the last second, Mark yanked me off the tracks. The train thundered past, so close I felt the heat and force tear the air beside my body. I collapsed, shaking, choking on my own breath. They laughed.
He felt it, that fear.
Lena looked down at me, disappointed.
You hesitated?
I didn't sleep after that. The next night was worse. They blindfolded me again and drove for a long time. My name is Daniel, and before all this happened, I thought I was a normal man with a normal life. I worked as a logistics coordinator for a mid-sized shipping company. Long hours, spreadsheets, deadlines, and coffee that tasted like regret. I wasn't rich. I wasn't famous. But I paid my bills, minded my business, and believed love was something calm, something safe. I was wrong. I met Lena on a rainy Thursday evening when my boss dragged me to a networking mixer I didn't want to attend. I remember standing near a table of untouched snacks, scrolling my phone, when she appeared beside me like a spark in a dark room.
You look like you're calculating the fastest way out.
I laughed despite myself. Is it that obvious?
Only to people who also want to escape.
She smiled. It wasn't soft or shy. It was sharp, confident, like she knew something I didn't. That should have been the first red flag. We talked for hours. She told me she freelanced, never really explained what she did. She loved motorcycles, cliff diving videos, and street races. I told her about my job, my quiet apartment, my dream of opening a small logistics consultancy someday. She listened, but I noticed something strange. She didn't admire stability. She tolerated it. Still, we fell into each other fast, too fast. She drove like the road owed her money, laughing as she sped through yellow lights, blasting music while my heart tried to escape my chest. Lena, slow down.
Relax, Daniel. Fear keeps life exciting.
She praised thieves on the news.
See that guy? Robbed a billionaire. That's courage.
That's a crime.
That's rebellion.
When videos surfaced online of people jumping between rooftops or clinging to buildings for thrills, she watched with admiration.
That's living.
I ignored it all. Love has a way of convincing you that red flags are just decorations. After a year together, she suggested we visit her family.
They want to meet the man who managed to keep up with me?
That sentence alone should have made me run. Her family lived in a small town far from mine, surrounded by dry roads and silence that felt too heavy. The house was large, but oddly empty, like it had swallowed too many secrets. Her father, Victor, shook my hand too firmly. So you're the one. Her mother, Elena, stared at me like I was a puzzle she'd already decided to break. Her brother, Mark, barely spoke, just smiled in a way that made my skin crawl. From the moment I arrived, it felt like an audition. They loved dangerous stories. Old scars were trophies. Near misses were bedtime tales. At dinner, Victor leaned forward. Daniel, what's the bravest thing you've ever done? I hesitated. I moved to a new city alone? Mark laughed. That's cute. The test started the next day. They took me off-road driving, laughing as the car skidded near ditches. They dared me to climb abandoned structures, mocked me when I hesitated.
A man must not fear consequences.
Consequences are real. Victor's eyes narrowed. Fear is weakness. Lena said nothing. She just watched. One night they woke me without warning. Hands grabbed my arms. A cloth was pulled tight over my eyes. Lena, what's happening? No answer. They pushed me into the back seat of the car. The engine started. I tried to count turns, but fear erased time. The road grew rough, gravel, then silence. The car stopped. Victor opened the door and dragged me out. Cold air hit my face. I heard something distant, a low rumble, metal screaming on metal. My heart dropped. "Where are we?" No one answered. They removed the blindfold. I was standing on the railway tracks. My hands were tied tightly behind my back, the rope biting into my wrists. I couldn't move. The rails vibrated under my feet. In the distance, a train horn blasted through the night. I froze, not because I wanted to, but because I had no choice. "This isn't funny. Let me move." Victor stood calmly in front of me. "Stand still." The sound grew louder. The ground shook. Wind rushed toward us. My legs gave out. "Please, please!" At the last second, Mark yanked me off the tracks. The train thundered past, so close I felt the heat and force tear the air beside my body. I collapsed, shaking, choking on my own breath. They laughed.
He felt it, that fear.
Lena looked down at me, disappointed.
You hesitated?
I didn't sleep after that. The next night was worse. They blindfolded me again and drove for a long time. When they stopped, they pulled me out and removed the cloth. Gravestones, rows and rows of them. A cemetery. The moonlight made the crosses look crooked and alive. Victor took my phone from my pocket. "No, don't do this." He leaned close and whispered in my ear. "Some people here didn't die peacefully." Then they left. The car disappeared into the dark. I stood there alone. Every sound felt loud. Wind through trees, dirt shifting. My mind played tricks on me. Shadows moved when nothing was there. I sat against a stone and waited, counting breaths, fighting panic, until headlights finally returned hours later. When they picked me up, no one asked if I was okay. That was when I knew. I couldn't survive this family. Later that night, while they slept, I packed my bag quietly. Shoes in my hands, door creaking open. A hand grabbed my shoulder. Victor stood there in the hallway, eyes calm, voice low. "Boy, where are you going to at this hour?" I said nothing. He smiled, and I understood. There was no leaving. Not yet. Then the worst happened. One night, I couldn't sleep. Around 2 a.m., my door creaked open. Victor stood there, Mark behind him, Lena beside them, silent. "Get dressed." "What?" "Why?" "It's time." They led me to a back room. On the table were masks, gloves, and things I didn't want to look at too closely. My stomach dropped. "What is this?" Victor's voice was calm. Too calm. "A test. One final test." "No. Absolutely not." Mark stepped closer. "You don't get to say no." Lena finally spoke.
Daniel, I need to know you're strong.
I looked at her, searching for the woman I loved. This isn't strength. This is madness. She looked away. They explained, too casually, that it would be quick, planned, easy. I would drive. My legs felt like stone. Fear isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's the moment you realize your life is no longer yours. We drove into the night, the engine humming too loud in my ears. I don't remember the road, only my hands shaking on the steering wheel and my heart beating so hard it hurt. Victor gave quiet orders from the back seat. 5 minutes in and out. The house was big, too quiet. A rich old couple lived there, lights on, curtains open, unaware their night was about to shatter. They jumped out of the car, masks on, guns up. I stayed behind, frozen. Minutes felt like hours. Then shouting came from inside the house. A door slammed. Glass broke. I heard the old woman scream. My stomach turned. Then silence. They came running back with bags, jewelry spilling out, cash stuffed into pockets. Easy money. As they stepped onto the driveway, headlights swept across the street. A police patrol. Time slowed.
Police!
Instead of running, Lena turned. She raised her gun. "Lena, no." She fired first. The night exploded. Gunshots cracked the air. Sirens screamed. The patrol car stopped sideways, officers taking cover. The family scattered. Lena ran toward me. A bullet hit her. She stumbled, dropped the gun, and fell to her knees. Blood soaked her shirt. "Lena, get up, please." She dragged herself toward the car, leaving a dark trail behind her. I opened the door, shaking. She looked up at me, breathing hard, smiling through pain.
Guess I pushed it too far.
Her eyes met mine.
At least, it was exciting.
Her head fell back. She was gone. Behind her, Victor, Elena, and Mark jumped onto hidden bikes near the fence. Engines roared. They didn't look back. They sped into the darkness and left her bleeding on the ground. Police shouted, "Hands up now!" I stepped away from the car and dropped to my knees. I surrender. At the station, they questioned me for hours. "Why were you there?" I was forced. I didn't plan this. I didn't touch a gun. I told them everything. How I met her, the family, the test, the threats. They checked my phone, my location, my messages. Everything matched. 2 days later, they told me the truth. "You're not being charged. You're free to go." I walked out of the station empty, shaken, but alive. They buried Lena. Her mother, father, and brother vanished that same night. A manhunt began. Weeks later, they were caught. And this time, they didn't escape. In court, Victor stared at me like he could burn me alive with his eyes. "I will find you. Prison won't hold me forever." The judge didn't blink. "You will never leave prison." Life sentences, no parole. As they were dragged away in court, Victor twisted his head toward me. His face was red with rage, veins bulging like they might burst. "You betrayed us. You were family. I swear, Daniel, I will make you pay for this." The guards pulled him harder, but he kept yelling, "You sold us out like a coward. You think this ends here?" His wife screamed my name too, not in fear, but in hate.
Traitor, you could have been one of us.
Mark tried to rush forward, but the guards slammed him back into his seat. "We trusted you, man. You were supposed to drive." Their voices echoed through the courtroom until the doors closed behind them. But here's the twist. I didn't feel happy. I didn't feel proud. I felt free. Later, I heard what happened inside prison. Victor tried to act tough on the first day. He walked in like he still ruled the world. An inmate laughed. "Look at this old man, still yelling like he's outside." Victor snapped back. "You don't know who I am." Another inmate smiled slowly. "We don't care who you were." They took his food, took his bed, took his voice. Elena cried at night. The women in her block mocked her.
Where's all that courage now, Risk Queen?
She stopped talking after that. Mark tried to show anger, tried to scare people. It didn't work. Your family ruined lives. Now sit down. They learned something too late. Fear doesn't work in prison. I went back to my life. I quit my job. Started my own consultancy. Built something safe, something boring, something beautiful. Sometimes people ask me if I miss her. I tell them the truth. I loved a woman who chased danger, and danger finally loved her back. So if you enjoyed this story and learned that love should not come with a police siren soundtrack, don't forget to like, subscribe, and, most importantly, drive safely. Because unlike this story, your life doesn't come with a rewind button.